Hello and welcome to this video about my Homebrew computer. Today I've got a really exciting update to share with you, and I've set my screen up to be able to show my Homebrew computer running in the flesh here, and that's the screen here in the small cutout, and then here you can see there's a PowerShell, and that is running, or from here I'm going to run MAME and a configuration of MAME which is for my Homebrew computer. So a couple of weeks ago, when I was at the Retro Computer Fair in Cambridge, I met a chap called Nigel who's a MAME development expert, and when he saw my hardware, he thought it would be quite easy to emulate in MAME. I was slightly skeptical because I thought it was going to be really complicated. I never ever looked at trying to do this, but just a few days of sharing information with Nigel on the configuration of my machine, the memory map, etc. And amazingly, he's been able to create this, and I'll just press any key on the MAME emulator, just skip through the warning, and you heard the beep there. That's the standard sound of the computer booting up. I'm just going to minimize the PowerShell because it's outputting logging information which is not needed and distracting. And that's actually how the Homebrew works. If I fire up the Homebrew, you see the same default behavior. You have to hold down the F1 key as I've just done here on the Homebrew, and if I do the same with the main version, we can see it does the same thing. On the main version, there is no SD card. We have to mount that. So first let's go into the main controls and load the same SD card which is actually on the machine, the real machine. So let's go back to the previous menu and return to the machine and disable UI controls. Now, if I reset the machine in MAME, it gives exactly the same display. And if I show the directory listing on both the emulated and the real machine, we can see the same folders, which is, as you'd expect, these folders have been created for the emulator from the actual SD card of the real hardware. They come up in a different order. I'm not quite sure why that is, but what I want to do is go to the games directory and in MAME, and then do a directory listing. Let's do the same thing on the real hardware, and then let's try loading up Tetris. This is one of the longer programs. It will take a few seconds to load, but it'd be interesting to see how this compares with the real hardware. So the big display is the main emulator, and the small display is the video of the actual hardware. So I'm going to press enter at exactly the same time on both these machines, and let's see what happens. 1, 2, 3, go. And on the emulator, the actual cassette motor also is emulated, so even the LED displays are emulated. But let's see if it finishes at the same time. And it will take a few seconds because it's a long program. Yeah, that looked like pretty much the same time to load. I would expect that. And let's list the program. 3, 2, 1, go. And it should be exactly the same. By the time it gets to the end of the program, all that scrolling, everything should be, I would have thought, more or less cycle perfect. I think it is, in fact, cycle perfect. Yeah, right. Okay. Well, let's start the game. We'll do like that. Underscore start, and save here. 3, 2, 1, go. there is my machine. So I'm really chuffed about this for a number of reasons. Firstly, it's going to allow me to um, develop more software for my homebrew computer just on the PC without having to blow an EEPROM each time or an EEPROM each time, and have to take chips in keep removing and inserting chips from the breadboard. And secondly, and maybe slightly hopefully, others might be interested in this machine that I've been building. I never thought I would be able to ever share it beyond some videos, but now with this MAME emulator, what I'll do is I will create a GitHub repository, both of the emulation settings and files that you need to run it in MAME, and all of the source code, so you can basically play with my homebrew computer on your own machine, see the software, uh, build the software because it works from Visual VS Code, and maybe it will inspire some folks to reuse the software or extend it, or do whatever they like with their own projects. So there we go. That's MAME. I've got the joystick here. I'm just going to show it on the real hardware. And if I start, and you can hear it, I think. Um, and then let's do the same thing on MAME. And I'm going to turn the music off on MAME and go. Now the random numbers aren't the same because the random numbers come off a timer, but you can see, here we go. This is Tetris running on MAME and running on the real hardware. So thank you very much, Nigel, for helping to bring my homebrew computer to the world of emulation. I'm really looking forward to sharing this with everyone, and the software too, and let's see whether that might be something that folks can do something with. So thank you for watching this video.